All right, everyone, welcome back to Cheap Horsepower. So this is going to be a little bit more in-depth than the short video that I made about this wiring harness here that I've kind of created from the main harness that you would normally pick up from like Amazon and things like that. What I've done here is broken this down to about as simple of a harness as you can possibly get, especially if you're having trouble getting spark. Simple is better. Eliminate all the things that could be a problem, because a lot of these things, even this, can cause your machine to not start or get spark when you're really trying to get this thing going. So by having a basic harness like this and just basically jumping your starter or kickstarting, this is what they would typically call kickstart harness. This is what you would find on like dirt bikes and things like that with kickstarts. They're very simple harnesses, and all they really consist of is a CDI, a coil, and a kill switch. In this case, that's actually what gets grounded right here, and that stops your spark to kill your engine. Now, there's two wires here, but they go into one, so you only really need one. I'm probably going to snip this one and just go to one, and then I'll hook this up to a switch. The other side of the switch will go to a ground, and that'll kill the engine. That's actually how it stops the motor, is by grounding it out to the chassis. You'll notice this on a lot of small engines like two strokes and things like that, like the little 49cc ones that you pick up for like 45 bucks. That's how you kill them, is you just ground it out. They basically, that's about as simple as it gets. Anyways, let's go back to this. What are these wires? The green wire is a ground. The white and yellow, they're accessory wires. These go to like headlights, tail lights, other things that run off of power. But yeah, that's basically what those are. These other two wires are very important. These go back to your CDI. And they usually have their clips to where they get inserted, just like they do here. Now, those, I make sure I leave those alone. But what I do is I start from the CDI. How do I create this from that big mess? This is how. You take this, grab a hold of it, all that mess is going to be attached to it, and you just follow these wires back. You make sure you find out what you need to keep. These two, very important, to keep those. Black and the white, we can snip that, give yourself some length, just in case you want to have a little extra length to hook up your switches and stuff. Find these two green wires. One's going to be coming off the coil. Remember, that's the other important piece of this, the coil. Because how else are you going to get spark, right? Chase that back. Make sure, yellow line, see how it goes right into the CDI? That makes it very easy. Keep that, don't snip it. But you can snip this green one, that's fine. All the green wires here are always going to be going to a ground of some sort. So usually this guy right here too, by the way. So you always want to make sure you attach it to something that's green or to a ground. So that's what we're going to be doing in this case. I'm going to basically snip off the ends of this, and then I'm going to splice it into the coil, or sorry, the stator that's already on my machine. That's how that's going to work. This one, I don't know if I told you before, but if I did, I apologize, but just go through it again. This is actually going to a kill switch. You can either ground it out. You could actually go the most basic. Once the engine's running, let's say it's running, you touch this to like your exhaust or something like that, something metal, it's going to kill the engine, because that's all this is doing, is grounding out the engine. So what you can do is you can attach this. You don't need both, you just need one, because honestly, if you look back here, it's already spliced into two from one. So you can just go to your ground or whatever, your switch, and then the other side will go to a ground, and that's how the switch works. Basically, when the switch is on, it'll ground the engine and it'll stop the engine. Now, if you want to have both of them, you can do that too. You can have like two, switches. You can have like a one of those lanyards, that pulls off, and if you fall off the bike or whatever and it's attached to you, it'll kill the motor that way too. do whatever you want. That's your kill switch right there. Everything else is very basic. I mean, that's it. I mean, look at it. It's as simple as you can get. So all that mess turned into that. And now I get to put it on the machine and, you know, put my theory to the test. Is this going to work? Is this going to give me spark? Let's find out. All right, welcome back. And let's take a look at this so we can finish up our wiring harness here. So as you can see, I have my kill switch wire that I've consolidated down to one wire now. It's over to the side. And then, of course, my coil's out of the way. It's because everything's set up properly there. And I have joined all three of these wires together. Now, you might be wondering, this one's black. It's not green. That does happen with a lot of these stock harnesses. As you can see, this is coming off the stator. This goes straight down into that piece that I showed you separately in the kitchen. So this is now coming off of the stator, and this black wire is a ground wire. Sometimes they're going to be different colors like this, and you just have to kind of have an idea of what they are. So I'll make this easy for you. Black is a ground, so are greens, so they're the same. Doesn't matter if they're different colors. Same thing here. Look at this. This is yellow and red. You might get confused and say, well, it's yellow, it's solid yellow. That's okay, they're the same. Same with the white. The white's white. That's it. That made it easy, right? Now this is where it gets real confusing. Look down here. I got a white and a red, but look at this. I have blue and white. The white right here signifies that's where this should be going. Now this is where it gets really confusing. This one's black and red and black and white. So it's black, red, and white, which is, it confused me in the beginning. I was like, oh, maybe that has to go to the blue because of the white. No, that red line right there with the black is signifying that I need to go back to this one, which is, look, red and black. See, it even has that similar line coming with the similar colors, is what I was saying. It's similar enough to where I could identify that and say, that's where it needs to go. Then, of course, these will go back to your CDI like normal. Everything's ready to go. So I should be ready to go ahead and fire this up. And then, like I said, if I want to kill the engine, I just touch this to some metal and the engine will stop when I want it to. Let's give it a shot. Success. I'm so happy. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it on camera. I could hear it before I could even see it. Yeah, you see it? There it is. Oh, wow. I'm so happy. That worked out so great. Hopefully this will help you too. I know a ton of you out there are going through the same issue I was, which is no spark. Now here's the other crazy thing. So if I hold this down to a ground, no spark. As soon as I release, like I said, you should be able to hear it. That's awesome.